What's happening, Hardscapers? This is episode 265 of the How to Hardscape podcast, where we talk about how you can start and grow your hardscaping business. And on today's episode, I get into another episode in our marketing series. This is a continuation of our series. We're going to go as many parts as we possibly need because I've been getting more and more questions or people hitting me up in our How to Hardscape on Instagram DMs asking, Mike, we're not getting the leads that we need this season. This seems to be a slowdown. What are you doing? What can I do? So I'm just going to continue on with our already 4-part series. This is part number 5 in this series. And we're going to get into, if you need leads right now, what you can do to start to generate those leads. But before we get into today's episode, we want to thank our sponsor, Cycle CPA. If you're looking for bookkeeping, accounting, CFO services, reach out to Cycle CPA at cyclecpa.com. Let them know How to Hardscape sent you for money off their services there. And if you're looking for a software to dive into this season, budgeting, estimating, job costing, time tracking, scheduling, and so much more, the How to Hardscape app software headquarters app is here. Finally happy to announce that. So if you do not get in before the end of this week, you will not hit our next price increase. Every time we hit a milestone with the software, we raise our prices. And for those already signed up, they are locked in at their price for new feature price increases. And for those not already signed up, this is kind of your last chance to do so. So our app is coming this week, which I'm happy to finally announce here. And you can just shoot me a message at How to Hardscape on Instagram if you want to learn more about that, or members.howtohardscape.com to learn more about the software and everything else that we've got going on there for members, including our course content. Oh, and if you want a quick marketing guide on what we talked about in this episode, it is going to be there's going to be a free PDF download with if you sign up to our email list. The link will be in the description of the show notes, but we'll talk more about that closer to the end of this episode. But just so you know, there's already a bunch of free things if you do join our email list, including an Excel sheet that helps you calculate your overhead expenses, and a job description list. There is a coupon code for a free sticker as well. So all that, if you join our email list, link is in the description or the show notes of this episode. And without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Did you miss our 4-part marketing series so far? This is part number 5, but in our 4-part series, part number 1, we talked about identifying your client avatar. This comes down to helping you find the client and who they actually are, their age, income, location, job, marital status, do they have kids, pets. All of this information helps you create who you're marketing to so that you can work on creating the actual content to appeal to that person. We also get into where you're going to find that client to market to and creating, like I said, that content, that creative to address their pain points, their fears, their desires, and to help you establish you as an authority in the space to be able to deliver on what they might be looking for with their project. Now, I get hit up by marketers so much. I'm sure you all do too, just from owning a landscaping business, but also from having this podcast and marketers wanting to be on the show. It's the most consistent, most highest traffic of messages that I receive is from marketers wanting to be on the show and so on and so forth. Usually they either don't have much experience in this industry and don't know exactly what they're talking about, but they've listened to a few podcasts and now they're going off and starting their own marketing firm. Believe me, I've thought about doing it in the past, and it's very easy to take what you hear from certain people like Gary Vee or Alex Hormozy and want to go off and start your own marketing firm based on what these people tell you. But the other type of marketer that I get hit up is somebody who started their business in the last 2020 to 2023, who was able to market their business, get a bunch of leads because it was easier than ever to get leads into your business, and now use that as a portfolio for them to now start their marketing firm. At least they have some sort of industry knowledge. If they did possibly own their own business, it's a question mark if they did or not, because they're not quite transparent on what business they actually owned. And it's very easy to just fake results in this industry. It's what I've learned more than anything within the marketing space, and something that I've just stayed away from. So instead of actually starting something for myself, I just put out everything that I know and can possibly share with out here on the podcast. That has to do with SEO. SEO has done me very well. If you search a lot of different hardscape terms, you'll find the How to Hardscape website show up in top Google results. And that's not by accident. That is just from my experience with starting websites in the past and just applying that to How to Hardscape, and then eventually my own landscaping business website as well. That trailed well longer than it should have. I should have taken even my own advice and applied it to my own landscaping business website. Instead, I did apply it to the How to Hardscape website, and that's, where my SEO practice kind of took shape and so on there. Going to social media, specifically for me, even though the How to Hardscape has somewhat of a following, that's more so organic, me reaching out to people, talking to people, commenting, liking, not so much putting out reels, because I don't put out reels on How to Hardscape. It's all community based, me posting other people's featured content and putting together a portfolio for the industry. I personally put my eggs into the YouTube basket for my own personal side of things, my own landscaping side of things. That was more so because I feel I'm a much better long form content producer, as well as that long form content serves me better in my landscaping business to be able to attach those two proposals. So I can create a video that's not only going to make me money, garner me views, but also those views could be coming from my local audience that may be looking for or researching a good contractor and how to do this and how to look for and get good hardscape contractor in to do their work. What to look for when they're getting quotes, but also all of that content can be used within my proposals. So in the How to Hardscape Headquarters software, those proposals are auto-generated with your work scopes based on the production group that you choose. So if I'm quoting a paver patio, I choose my paver patio production group. All of my production rates show up. I fill those in. But when I generate a proposal, it takes that paver patio production group and it takes my work scope that I have assigned for paver patio production group and automatically imports that into my proposal. So I don't have to type that out every time. They see exactly what they're getting, and line by line, those are linked to one of my videos. And that's, for example, a work scope could be paver patio. We excavate X amount of inches. We base prep X amount of inches using this material. We install a geotextile. We install geogrid. We install a bedding layer. We screed it, and so on. So each of these have their own points, but also each of these have their own videos hyperlinked within that proposal, so that client can actually click in and see visually what we are talking about. And that definitely sets us apart with those proposals. Not to mention, we don't have to put any more effort into those proposals. They're there within the system and generated automatically whenever we are doing specific work areas. But on top of that, I always do paid ads somewhere just to experiment more and more. And that's more so what our marketing series has been about. Not to mention other things that you can do. But more and more often these days, and what I'm seeing in Facebook groups and everywhere, is how do I get more leads now? I'm dried up of work, or things are a lot slower. Obviously, there was going to be a slowdown. So I've talked about it on the podcast in the past. When times were good, most likely people were too busy to focus on how they can set themselves up for out of this boom, this high demand when things start to slow down. People were too busy to focus on those things. That makes sense. I even fell into that a little bit with my own website, but I did revert and go back to actually working on that because my SEO has brought me in a lot of leads and I don't have to pay for that. And just learning a little bit about SEO can do wonders to your own website without having to pay somebody to do that. And especially with marketing firms, if you go to them to build a website, you're constantly having to go to them to learn or to revamp things and having to pay them. Makes sense, they're a business, but it's never been easier to create your own website and to optimize it for search engine results. And we have all this information available not only on previous podcast episodes, but also on How to Hardscape free articles for you to dive into and learn more about creating your own website, about search engine optimization, and so on. That being said, if you are in need of leads right now, what can you possibly do? There's two things with marketing. There's either you invest your time or money, and then there could be a mix of both in there as well, of course. But if you don't have the money or the capital to get new leads, the best way possible to go about getting those new leads, in my opinion, would be whenever you are working on a project. Hopefully you still have a little bit of work in the schedule. You're working on a project, you're in a neighborhood. Hopefully you are dressed, you are professional, you look professional, your outfit looks professional. You then, at the end of the day, when a lot of people are home from work, you go door to door and you just introduce yourself. You say, hey, your neighbor across the street, we're just doing work there. We specialize in this. I see your front walkway needs a little bit of work. If you'd like, I'd be more than happy to give you a good ballpark of what it might cost you if we did this same way that we're doing over there for your neighbor. That way you have some sort of at least familiarity. They can go over to their neighbor afterwards and ask, hey, what was it like working with this person? As well as you can literally point to your work and show them what you are doing. So that is the easiest way to get more work, especially in the same area where you're currently working. Leaving door hangers if possible, if that's, within the legalities of where you are, something in the mailbox. But ultimately, your face door to door, being able to point to a project that you're working on currently, and having that familiarity with the person that you're talking to. Besides that, just going, if you can spot out different areas within the service areas that you provide where they visually have things that are going wrong with their front walkway, driveway, things that you can see from the curbside. Those are the easiest things to tackle, especially in a down economy. You're not, especially if you're hurting for work and you think that closing jobs is becoming more and more difficult. The low-hanging fruit is the functional necessities, not the luxuries. The luxuries in the past few years have been the outdoor living spaces. People have free capitals to spend and they spent it. Now, if things are getting tighter, if you see that, especially coming into the end of the season next year, it's the functional necessities, the steps that are falling apart that become a lawsuit or a hazard, the front walkway that is dipping and falling apart that become a tripping hazard, things that you can literally see from the curbside because people do go from the curbside to the front entrance, whether it's unwarranted for those homeowners or not, or visitors that could become a tripping hazard, somebody hurts themselves. Those are the functional necessities, things that you can solve for them, and they are like a leaking pipe in your house that needs to be fixed. Those are the things that you can target, and not only is it the best that you can actually see them from the curbside, so you know this is somebody that needs work, that you can knock on the door, do that door-to-door sales. If that is up your alley, that is the best way to go about it. Another thing that you can do is reach out to realtors, to home inspectors, to anybody that offers home services, to homeowners. Reach out to them, introduce yourself, say, hey, if you have anybody in mind that may be looking for a front entrance, a front step, a side walkway, a backyard patio, we are here to help. I'd be more than happy to share your name with anybody that I also can share your name with as well. All of that helps. And just to transfer this now into the online space. So if you do have money at your disposal, any kind of money to throw at ads, there's two routes that I see you can go down. You can go down the Google Ads route, or you can go down the Facebook Ads route. The Google Ads, it's all about copy. It's all about how you can make the words that you put into that Google ad appeal to somebody that is searching for that specific search term. Google Ads are going to cost you more per lead, but they're going to bring in people who are actually looking for those specific services that they're searching for. So the services that you offer, what are people searching for in Google to find a contractor that are offering those services? And how can you tailor an ad to specifically speak to that specific homeowner to click on your ad? And then the second thing about that is, how can you create a landing page to show them that you are an authority in this space, that you are the right contractor to hire for them? And how can you convert that now expensive lead into a consultation for your business? So that is how Google Ads, you need to have a good knowledge of writing good copy, or at least writing copy, putting it into ChatGPT, asking ChatGPT to enhance this for a specific homeowner that's looking for X service, and then using those to then plug into Google Ads and targeting certain keywords. But then along with Google Ads, the second part of that in and of itself is, how can you create your website to have a landing page that will actually convert? So there's definitely two parts to any good Google Ads campaign, is those two parts. And that's a podcast episode in and of itself. The one thing that I prefer personally, as somebody that creates video content, is Facebook ads. And I'm seeing more and more Facebook ads out there and Instagram ads. And it is so easy from the ads that I've seen to stand out above what I've seen so far. Because all I've seen so far are photos. Great. That's awesome. But people buy specifically from people. And if you are comfortable in front of a camera, if you can get comfortable in front of a camera, the video ad is the low-hanging fruit, especially in our industry. So creating a video ad, we've talked about this in part 1, 2, 3 of our series. So if you want to go back and revisit those and come up with a good video piece of content for your ad, that's the best way to go about it. But just a quick recap of what I like to do is, I like to show my face immediately. It's the first thing that they see, but in the background have something that I can point to say, this is what we do. So if I'm creating an ad for, I want to build your next outdoor living space, I've got an outdoor living space with a fire feature, water feature, a retaining wall, lighting, and so on and so forth in the background to show them, hi, I'm Mike from Ever After Landscaping, and we build beautiful outdoor living spaces. I want my face visible so that they know who they're buying from, who they're dealing with, and I want that context in the background of what I'm trying to essentially sell them. I want to appeal to their desires. What do they want? What is it that my ad is specifically targeted at? And I want to indirectly address their fears or what they might be holding back from, whether they were burned from a previous contractor and so on and so forth. How can I do that? Well, reviews. What reviews can I show them on that video? Just Google my business reviews. Google my business reviews. Put them up there and show them. That helps to alleviate any fears that you might not be a trustworthy contractor. But you don't want to say, hey, I am a trustworthy contractor. You want to show them, because the first thing that, if I hear somebody say, hey, I'm honest or I'm trustworthy, first thing that I think is, why did they have to say that? And are they trustworthy? Are they honest? So you don't want to directly address their fears. You want to indirectly address their fears. Hey, look at our Google review. Look at this one 5-star rating. This is what they said, and so on there. Also, do they do quality work would be a fear. Maybe they've been burned by another contractor, not from being dishonest or untrustworthy, but just the quality of work was poor. Well, show them the quality work, talk about your warranty maybe, if that's a good talking factor, but also talk about what makes your company unique. For me, I'm an owner-operator, I'm in the field, I'm the salesperson, I'm the designer. They're dealing with me through in and throughout. I'm not, and I specifically say I'm not the salesperson that then hands it off to the designer, that then hands it off to the foreman, that then has to deal with you on anything that might be going wrong. I'm the business owner from there on forward, and you are dealing with me. So there's no game of telephone, nothing gets lost in the mixture, and I'm here to make sure that you have a good experience from the beginning to the very end. All of this is communicated within my ad, and if they do watch it for any sort of period of time or all the way to the end, they've got all that information. And through Google, or Facebook ads, there's a bunch of different campaign options. I choose the lead form option because they stay on Facebook. So keeping them on the platform that they're on is a lot easier than having them go to a browser or to go to your website. But having them just fill out a lead form on Facebook, they're on Facebook, they don't have to leave Facebook, which is a friction point for them to have to leave Facebook, go to your website, see the landing page, and then go to your contact form and then put in the information. Just quick and easy, especially if you need leads. You're not asking them what their budget is. What is your, what can you send us a photo? Can you do this and that? You want it to be simple. Their name, phone number, email, and that's it. Literally, that's it. Because you just want you want it to be as easy as possible, their contact information, and then you get on the phone with them, you talk to them, see if they would be a good fit, then you can direct them to your email address. Hey, I'm going to send you an email. I just want you to send us over just a photo of your space as it currently stands. Now you can start to pre-qualify. But if you are hurting for your leads, you just want it to be as seamless and as easy, as frictionless as possible. Get their lead contact information, get them on the phone, then go to your pre-qualifying process. That is what you do if you are hurting more so for leads. If you're not hurting for your leads, if you got an abundance of leads, sure, keep that budget question in, have them have to send you in a photo, their address, the city that they live in, and so on and so forth there. But if you're hurting for leads, name, phone number, email address, that's it. We want to take a break from today's episode to thank our sponsor, Cycle CPA. It's crucial to review your financial statements on a monthly basis so you can diagnose areas for improving your business's financial health early before they become significant issues. Too many contractors wait until the end of the year to review their financials as they file taxes, when it's often too late to take action to change the outcome. Cycle CPA not only handles bookkeeping and taxes, but they also ensure that you're armed with financial data on a monthly basis to make key business decisions. They offer benchmarking, cash flow forecasting, and assistance in developing targets for financial metrics. With their team of accountants specialized in the hardscape and landscape industry, they currently work with hundreds of companies in this field. Visit cyclecpa.com, and for $200 off, mention the How to Hardscape podcast. Now back to our episode. Okay, beyond that, this is what I've found has been really helpful to me, especially for this year, is creating content specifically to my service area, cities, and also creating content specifically to my different services. So instead of just having a generic, I'm a hardscaper, we can build patios, retaining walls, steps, front walkways, side walkways, and so on and so forth here, outdoor lighting and all this. Create one ad for each of those certain things, and then for each of those certain service areas. You might be saying, Mike, that's tons of things. This is way too much to do. Well, here's what I found. Specifically talking to a city, especially in those first few sentences, just immediately captures people's attention. But also to these services. I have found that my leads costs goes down depending on the service, or up depending on the service that I'm specifically targeting. So, for example, I can post a step replacement or repair ad and get a much lower cost per lead than it would for an outdoor living space ad. And that just has to do with supply and demand, as well as, people can visually see their steps every time they step up into their house, and they may and know that they need that replaced. They just maybe have been putting it off, but once they see my ad with my face and a falling apart step in the background, and then showing them in a time lapse what we do to alleviate and put in a beautiful brand new natural stone step, or build them a step with a natural stone cap, all of that just immediately appeals to them, and they might want to get that service done for themselves. So I've seen my outdoor living space ads cost per lead be as high as $30, $40, and especially not targeted to certain cities and not doing everything that I'm talking about here. But then my cost per lead for steps and step repairs and step replacements being as low as $9, and that's Canadian dollars. So for US, that's like $7 a lead. And the best thing about that is there's so much opportunity if you go out to do these consultations for step repair, step replacement. Because what do people have that have falling apart steps and need step repairs and step replacements? They have a falling apart front walkway, or a front walkway that you can upsell them on just because, hey, I'm here doing this step. Do you want this front walkway design too? And might as well hit that out at the same time, as opposed to putting that off, because we're here. That's a big part of our mobilization and our cost. So do you want us to, we'll just do it quickly. We'll throw you a price. We'll give you a price for the step because we're doing that anyways. We'll just throw you a quick price for the front walkway as well to add that in. I've also been out on consultations from these ads that it's a backyard step, and the patio is not in great shape either. And you know what? We'll do the same thing for your patio. Do you want it lift and relayed, or do you want a brand new patio put in its place here? We're already doing it. Might as well just at least get a price, just so you know. That's also led to larger jobs, but just getting your foot in the door for that step. Not to mention, these are leads in your database that you can reach out to in the future if you tag them that, hey, this is somebody that in the future we're going to want to reach out to say, hey, I remember we were out on your consult, or we did your back step last year or 2 years ago. I remember that your back patio, it needed a few touch-ups here and there. How's that going for you? Can we get you in the schedule this year to maybe fix that? Or are you in the market for a new patio? All of these are also setting yourself up for the future, to have these leads in your database that you can reach out to. And hey, the How to Hardscape Headquarters software can help you with that as well, because we do have a CRM within that, and email marketing to be able to tag these clients, to be able to mass email them in the future to say these types of things. But this is all setting yourself up for now and looking forward to in the future, by getting your foot in the door, like I said, for those inexpensive cost per leads, step repair replacement ads, and then trying to upsell on that front walkway, patio, lift and relay maybe, or even doing a brand new patio or brand new walkway. Or worst case scenario, you've got them in the database, you've made notes, and you know to reach out to them in the future because they will need a new patio or repair or replace, whatever. So instead of looking at the past and saying, man, I should have actually focused in on my website. I should have started some sort of channel to benefit my business. Start to do that now. Start to future-proof your business now, and getting those inexpensive leads, getting your foot in the door now for these. That has been the biggest thing for me this season, is evaluating what my cost per lead is, what my cost of acquisition is. So there's the cost of lead. That's, not every lead is created equal. Not every lead we get are leads that we go on consultations for. So even though my cost per lead for steps might be $9, my cost to acquire a client might be $90. It might take me 10 leads to just land one client, because those 9 leads then become 3 consultations. Those 3 consultations, I give out 2 quotes, and then I get 1 client from that. My closing ratio would be 50% because I gave out 2 quotes. One of them became a client, but my cost per lead for that 1 client was $90 in that sense. And all that helps you then to job cost especially with overhead expenses, to then budget this marketing cost into your business. Because then now you can say, okay, this step repair replacement, we did it, and the cost per acquisition was $90, and this took me 2 days, and I've got, 36 weeks. Multiply that by 5 as I do math here. 180 days. This took me 2 days. That's 90 days. That's 90 projects to fill my whole schedule. If I was to do this all in steps, times 90. Okay, I know that I need to budget for the entire season $8,100 to cover my entire season for step repairs, replacements. But also you can then start to average out, okay, that one step repair replacement, I only did the step. It cost me $90 to acquire that client. But this next one, it cost me $90 to acquire that client, but it actually took me 5 days to do because we did their step and walkway. So that's taken up a little bit more of my schedule. So that's going to actually lower my cost per revenue of that specific client or that specific type of project, and that's going to lower the amount of money that you need to put into marketing if you're able to once again upsell those clients. This is that time that I have tried to create a bank of podcast episodes that can help the industry, that can help great contractors to use to their advantage to help them during these times. Because 2020 to 2023 has been easy. We should have been preparing ourselves for that downturn. That's what I have been trying to do for my business, and this is where going back to sales episodes that we've done, and I'm going to do more sales episodes to help with that upsell, to help with things like that. But these marketing episodes at least get more leads into your business. And then it becomes, okay, now that I've got that lead, how do I convert that lead into a sale? Not to mention, we've done Knowing Your Numbers episodes. Tons of those. Go back and learn how to price a project. We have a free course on the How to Hardscape website for pricing landscaping projects profitably. Take a look at that. That's absolutely free. If you want to, we've got the How to Hardscape Headquarters software to help you actually price profitably. So all these things are starting to feed to, I've heard it time and time again. Don't think of yourself as a hardscape company. Think of yourself as a marketing company that sells hardscape services. The wrong way to think about it. You're a hardscape company. Take pride in your work. Absolutely. You need to market to get leads into your business. You need to sell to get those leads to convert into sales. You need to do good accounting to job cost projects to see where you went right, where you went wrong. You need to be a great estimator. Perhaps you need to be a good designer as well. These are all just different aspects of a business. You're not a marketing business that sells hardscape services. You're a hardscape company that especially if you're an owner operator, but even if you aren't an owner operator, even if you want to know how to outsource these things, what to look for, and just having general knowledge at the very least to be able to outsource these things is crucial. Not to mention if you're just hiring somebody to take care of these things, you want to know who you can count on, and you need that general knowledge of these things. And whether or not you think, I'm not a marketing person, learn just a little bit before you then turn to somebody to outsource. The amount of marketing services that I've seen pop up that have .ai after their name, or we're a marketing company .ai, or we leverage AI. It's become a complete joke in my mind. I said this back on the podcast that AI would be the new blockchain buzzword or the new crypto buzzword. And sure enough, the amount of companies that I've seen that just say AI after them has become the new buzzword, especially for marketing companies. So don't get trapped into that, just know who you are hiring, have a good framework of how to target your client, what client you're going for, where to find them, how to create good content to attract them, but also start to think about the future in your business. And that once again comes down to creating content. Whether you like it or not, content will organically attract your next client. And the better time to start that was yesterday. The next best time is now. Whether that is through SEO on your website, still very crucial. Whether that is YouTube videos, which I highly recommend. Doubling down on Instagram if you're a good short form content producer. If you can, do everything. If you can't, focus in on your strengths and create content specifically for those strengths. Like I said, my strengths are writing, long form content. It also works best for my business, not short form content personally, not that Instagram, all that. It's that longer form. If I really wanted to, I would just, and I have done this on YouTube, I just haven't applied it to Instagram. I don't think it works as good, but chopping those long form content videos down to short form, 3 to 5 pieces, and then posting that on Instagram. I just haven't gotten around to really using Instagram in that way. I focus on how to hardscape on Instagram and just talking to people that message me, as well as networking and so on and so forth. I don't focus so much on I am a hardscaper, and even less so with ever after a landscaping. There's only just so much time in the. So once again, focus on what you think you are best at. Focus on your strengths. And if you think you can develop those strengths, for example, if you think you are good at marketing or you have an interest in marketing, learn more, apply it, test, revisit, test again. That's all marketing is. That's all I've been doing for the past all my time in business, from even before How to Hardscape in my landscaping business, with all the other things that I've done. It's just been testing, and that's all that marketing is. I hope this has helped you in some way. I hope that this helps you get out there, get more leads immediately, whether it is through your time or whether it is through your capital, if you do have that available to you, or a mixture of both, to get those leads into your business. If this has been helpful to you in any way, and you know somebody that could benefit from this, I would very much appreciate a share. Share it with them. This is part 5 in a marketing part series where we started at the beginning of the year. I figured that marketing would be a big topic this year. This is one thing that I know I can help out with in my efforts and what I've tested and what I've done in my own businesses. So if you have any questions, please do not hesitate at How to Hardscape. More than happy to take a look at that. If I do get around to it, and I tried to today, I was going to create a download. So if you sign up to our, and I'm going to do it, so I'm just saying that if you sign up to our mailing list, that is on howtohardscape.com, but it'll be in our show notes here. If you subscribe to our mailing list, you will get a quick PDF document of how I go about creating my video content for Facebook ads. What I do, I break it down step by step, as well as why I do what I do and who I target with each of those videos. If that interests you, you can click on the show notes. There's going to be a link there with a subscription to our mailing list. So it's just our email list. You can click on it, you subscribe. There's a bunch of free different things there. Actually, there's how to calculate your overhead expenses and get a cost per day for that. There is job descriptions, download for free. You also get a free sticker if you go through our How to Hardscape website as well. You get a coupon code for a free sticker. So all of that's there. So you get a bunch of free things if you sign up to our email list. So definitely click that link, get that. And once again, I would appreciate a share if you found this helpful in any way. And if you didn't, if you hated my voice, if you hated what you heard, also share it with somebody, or send me a message and tell me that you hated it, and especially why you hated it. That would also make my day as well. So thank you for listening to today's podcast episode once again. Rating, review, Spotify, Apple allows you to do a written review. I haven't got one of those in a while. I would very much appreciate if you did that. So many different calls to action here, but sign up to our newsletter, written review, rating, Spotify, Apple, Cycle CPA. Thank you so much for sponsoring today's episode. If you're looking for bookkeeping, accounting, CFO services, reach out to Cycle CPA at cyclecpa.com. Let them know how to Hardscape sent you for money off their services there. And if you heard my microphone or some weird audio clipping in and out, my mic jack was loose during this, so there might have been a little bit of in and outs there. But also, if you're looking for a software for you to dive into this season, that's the How to Hardscape Headquarters software. That's budgeting, estimating, job costing, time tracking, scheduling, employee management. We've got Hardscape installation courses that you can assign to your employees, and that app that we talked about. Reach out to me at How to Hardscape on Instagram. Shoot me a message if you want a demo, if you want to learn more about that, or at members.howtohardscape.com if you want to learn more about that. And we look forward to meeting with you next week on the How to Hardscape podcast.